4 payments are landing in Canadian bank accounts this month, and if even one of them catches you off guard, you could be short hundreds of dollars right when you need it most. One of these payments is brand new. Most seniors have never even heard its name yet. Before we get into it, if you find this kind of information useful, please take a second and subscribe to the channel. It genuinely motivates us to keep researching and bringing you accurate, up-to-date pension content every single week. Welcome back to CPPOAS Weekly Update. Today, we're going to walk through 4 government payments that are either arriving this month or changing this month, and I want to make sure you know exactly what to expect, when to expect it, and what could cause your amount to be different than you think. This matters because 2 of these payments just got a rate increase, one of them is completely new, and one of them has a strict deadline attached that could stop your money cold if you miss it. Let's start with the one most of you already know well, Old Age Security, or OAS. Your OAS payment for July lands on July 29th, 2026. Mark that date. And this isn't just a regular payment. This is the quarterly adjustment date, when the government reviews the cost of living and decides whether your payment goes up. This time, it did go up. OAS increased by 1.2%, which is actually the largest cost of living bump seniors have seen so far this year. For seniors aged 65 to 74, the maximum monthly OAS payment is now roughly $752. For seniors 75 and older, it climbs to roughly $827 a month because you already receive that automatic 10% boost once you turn 75. Now, here's something a lot of people don't realize, and it's worth sitting with for a moment. Your OAS payment date never changes based on your income, but your amount absolutely can. So why would your neighbor, who's the same age as you, get a different deposit this month, even though the increase applied to everyone equally? Stick with me because the answer connects directly to our next payment. That answer is the Guaranteed Income Supplement, or GIS. GIS is paid on the exact same date as OAS, so it also lands July 29th. It's designed for lower income seniors, and here's the important part. It's completely tax-free. You don't pay a cent of tax on this money, unlike OAS and CPP, which are both taxable. But GIS comes with a catch that catches people every single year. It's recalculated annually every July using your income tax return from the previous year. That means your 2025 tax return is what determines your GIS amount for the entire period from July 2026 through June 2027. If your income dropped last year, maybe you retired partway through the year, or you pulled less money from your RRIF, your GIS could actually rise by more than that 1.2% adjustment. But if your income went up in 2025, even if OAS itself increased, your GIS could shrink. Some seniors see their total deposit barely move or even go down slightly, and they call Service Canada confused, not realizing this recalculation happened. Here's the part that should worry you a little, in a good way, because it's completely avoidable. If you didn't file your 2025 tax return by April 30th, 2026, your GIS payments could be paused starting this month. Not reduced, paused. If that's you and you haven't filed yet, please get that tax return in as soon as possible. Filing late doesn't just delay a refund. For GIS recipients, it can stop essential income entirely. Single seniors with little to no other income could see a combined OAS and GIS deposit of around $1,875 this month, up from about $1,853 in June. But remember, that number depends entirely on your personal income situation. Now let's talk about the third payment, and this one has a wrinkle that trips up even seniors who've been retired for 20 years. That's the Canada Pension Plan, or CPP. CPP is paid on the same schedule as OAS and GIS, so again, July 29th is your date. The maximum CPP retirement pension at age 65 in 2026 sits at approximately $1,433 a month, though I want to be honest with you, very few people actually receive the maximum. Your personal amount depends entirely on how much and how long you contributed during your working years. The average payment tends to be meaningfully lower than that maximum figure. Here's something worth pausing on. CPP is tax taxable income just like OAS. That means at tax time, you'll receive a T4A slip for it, and if you're not having tax withheld throughout the year, you could end up with a larger tax bill than expected the following spring. If that's ever caught you off guard before, you can actually call Service Canada and ask them to withhold tax directly from your CPP and OAS payments the same way an employer would from a paycheck. It's a simple phone call and it can save you a very stressful April. Now here's a question worth asking yourself. If OAS, GIS, and CPP all arrive on the exact same day, why does the total in your account sometimes feel like it moved for no reason? The answer, again, almost always comes back to that once-a-year recalculation using last year's tax return. It's the single biggest reason seniors' deposits shift from one July to the next. Now let's get into the payment most of you have probably never heard of, because it's only a few weeks old. It's called the Canada Groceries and Essentials Benefit, or CGEB, and it officially replaced the old GST and HST credit starting this month. Here's the story behind it, briefly, because I think it helps to understand why this exists. The federal government announced this change back in January 2026. It passed into law in February, and it's backed by nearly $12 billion in additional support spread over 6 years. The goal was simple. Rising grocery costs have hit fixed-income seniors especially hard, and the old GST credit simply wasn't keeping pace. So what changed? The eligibility rules are the same as the old GST and HST credit. If you qualified before, you very likely qualify now. But the amount you receive increased by 25%, and that increase is locked in for 5 full years, from 2026 through 2031. There were actually 2 payments involved in this transition, and this is where a lot of confusion has been happening online, so let me clear it up for you plainly. The first was a one-time transition top-up payment that started arriving June 5th, 2026. This was calculated as 50% of your total annual GST and HST credit amount from the previous benefit year. For a single senior, that could have been up to roughly $267. For a couple, up to about $349. The second is the real ongoing quarterly payment under the new name, and that one landed for the first time on July 3rd, 2026. Going forward, this is a regular quarterly deposit, just like the GST credit used to be, except now it's 25% higher. For the 2026 to 2027 benefit year, a single senior could receive up to approximately $679 annually. A couple could receive up to about $890 annually. And if you're supporting a grandchild or another dependent under 19 in your care, you could receive an additional amount per child on top of that. Now here's an important detail for you specifically, because I know a lot of you have heard rumors flying around about a supposed $2,000 federal bonus tied to this benefit. I want to be very direct with you. That figure is not accurate. It's been circulating widely online, and it is misleading. The real combined amount, including both the one-time top-up and a full year of quarterly payments, tops out at roughly $950 for a single senior, or up to about $1,890 for a larger family with several children. Please don't let anyone tell you a flat $2,000 check is coming. It simply isn't accurate, and I'd rather you hear the real numbers from us than get your hopes up over something that isn't true. The best part about the CGEB, and this is genuinely good news, is that most of you don't need to do anything at all. If you filed your 2025 income tax return, the Canada Revenue Agency automatically determines whether you qualify and deposits the money the same way your GST credit always arrived. No separate application, no extra form. It simply shows up if you're eligible. The one exception is if you're a newcomer to Canada who hasn't filed a tax return here before. In that case, you would need to complete a specific application form called the RC151 to get into the system. So let's bring this all together, because I know that's a lot of numbers and dates to keep straight, and that's exactly why so many seniors miss part of this. 4 payments, OAS, GIS, and CPP, all arrive together on July 29, 2026, each with its own increase or recalculation behind the scenes. And the Canada Groceries and Essentials benefit, the newest of the 4, made its first true quarterly payment on July 3rd, and going forward, it will keep arriving every 3 months, permanently 25% higher than the old GST credit ever was. The single most important thing you can do to protect all 4 of these payments is make sure your 2025 tax return is filed. It doesn't matter if you think you owe nothing or you think it doesn't apply to you. Filing that return is what triggers GIS, and it's what confirms your CGEB eligibility for the entire year ahead. Skipping it, even by accident, is the #1 reason seniors see payments delayed or paused. I want to say this clearly because I care about getting this right for you. This channel is not affiliated with the Government of Canada or Service Canada. We're here purely to help you understand what's happening with your benefits in plain, honest language, and to make sure you're never caught off guard. If this helped clear things up for you, it would mean a lot if you hit that like button. And if you have a question about your own specific situation, drop it in the comments below. I read every single one, and I try to answer as many as I can personally. And if you haven't already, please subscribe to CPP OAS Weekly Update so you never miss an update like this one again. Next week, we're going to break down exactly how the OAS clawback works, step by step, with real numbers, so you know precisely where that threshold sits and how to plan around it. I'll see you in the next video, and take care of yourself out there.